Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. So we were seeing the Madhu Brahmanam, in which the main teaching got over with the 15th Vakya itself here. Then the last 4 are more like a summary, in which the 16th and 17th are actually recollecting a story which is from the Karma Kanda. In fact, I went back and did some more, I studied some more research I did about that Pravargya ritual itself. So there is an interesting story there. There also there is a story actually where Vishnu becomes the foremost amongst the Devatas, because they all do an yajna, and in that Vishnu gets the offering, and he becomes the foremost amongst the Devatas. Like other Devatas are also there, Agni, Indra, etc. Correct? And the other Devas are jealous of Vishnu. They don't like him becoming the foremost amongst them. And after that particular yajna, Vishnu is lying with his chin on the bowstring. On his bowstring, he is keeping his chin and he is resting like this. The other Devas who are jealous, what they do, they ask some termites. In fact, they give the termites a boon that if you come and do whatever we say, you will be able to find water even in deserts. Okay, so you will always be able to find water. So it seems according to the Veda, termites have a boon like that. So the termites came and they ate away the string of the bow. And then the string broke. It is under heavy tension, correct? The string broke and it cut the head of Vishnu. And Vishnu's head got separated from his body and it fell. And then it became Surya. The head of Vishnu only became Surya like this. There is a story is there. Then the Ashwini Kumaras are there also. They come and then they again join a head and all that and create a yajna. So that is what is recollected here by Bhashyakara. Bhashyakara simply says yajnasya sirachinnam. Yajna is Vishnu really, because yajno vai Vishnuhu, like this it is said in the Yajurveda. Vishnu is nothing but yajna. So again Ashwini Kumaras only joined Vishnu's head also. That is said here as Tat Pratisandhanartham Pravagya Karma. So the Pravagya Karma itself is for the Ashwini Kumaras. In fact, there is a story for them also. See, Ashwini Kumaras are the divine physicians and they go and help everybody, including Manushyas. Since they are freely moving with the Manushyas, the other Devas did not consider them to be worthy of receiving offerings and oblations in a yajna. So like this, there is another story. And these Ashwini Kumaras, they try to go and seduce the wife of Chavana Maharishi, who is very old. But then the Rishi's wife says, you people are imperfect, so I will not come with you. I will stay with my husband only. And then they ask what imperfection we have. Then she says, you make my husband young, then only I'll tell you. So like this, another story is there. And so the Ashwini Kumaras make Chavana Maharishi young, and then she tells them that you people, you do not get oblations in the yajna like other devas, so you are imperfect. So then they go, and this Pravargya ritual is where they say that we have to be given oblations, offerings in this. And in fact, the milk, fresh milk is poured in a pot. The pot itself is supposed to be the head of Vishnu, which got cut, correct, and it fell down. So milk is poured into that pot. That pot is called Mahavira. It seems our dharma and all that. Or sometimes they pour milk into boiling ghee. And that sound which comes from the pouring of that milk is supposed to be the sound which came when Vishnu's head got cut and it fell down. Like this, there are many things are said about this particular ritual. So anyway, that pot is Vishnu's head, and in that milk is boiled and then it is offered to Ashwini Kumaras. That is the main thing about this Pravargya. The Pravargya itself is a part of generally Somayagas. So there are different types of Somayagas are there. Because in any yajna, if Soma juice is offered, that is called a Somayaga. And Agnishtoma, like that, there is a Homa is there. That is one Somayaga. That itself, the simpler form of Agnishtoma itself takes 5 days. Then there is an Ati Agnishtoma, Ati Ratra, like that. There are different types of, even Vajapeya Yajna is a Somayaga only. So different Somayagas are there. Even nowadays, some people do Somayaga. So those who do Somayaga are called Somayaji. And this Pravargya is part of the preparatory rituals in the Somayaga also. So that is how this Pravargya is there. And this whole story itself is about the Vishnu's head getting cut and then again it got joined by Ashwini Kumara. All this thing you can do Upasana on that. That is the Madhu, one Madhu Vidya. Twashtram Madhu, that is called here, correct? Savam Madhu Pravachate Twashtram, correct? That Twashtram Madhu is about all this story about Vishnu. And the Upasana also is described based on that story. Then the Kakshyam Madhu is the one which is taught here. Kakshyam is the secret which was taught in this particular Madhu Brahmana. So like this, there is a story associated, and Twashta is sun. So how sun came about, that is what is this Twashtram Madhu. Okay, because it is Vishnu's head which became Aditya. Like this is the Vedic story is there. So anyway, those things we saw last week itself. We even saw the 18th also, where the Purusha, 18th and 19th are about the summary of the this Madhu Vidya, Kakshyam Madhu Vidya. You can say 16, 17 are Twatram Madhu. 18, 19 is the summary of the Kakshyam Madhu Vidya or the Madhu Vidya, which reveals the reality of Atma as the only independent, existent reality. And here we already saw that Purushaha means Purshu Purishayaha. So the one who is manifest in a fourth here is the body mind sense complex only. The Purishayanat Purushaha, like this one particular Vyutpatti, you can say, derivation of the word Purushaha. Purnat Purushaha also we say, because the one who pervades everything, that also comes here, correct? Na yenena kinchana anavritam, kinchana asamvritam. So double negative, nothing is not covered by this Atma, nothing is not pervaded by this Atma like this. Both Purishayana and Puranat, Purushaha, both the derivations, the meaning you can get from here. That we saw already, the 18th one. Then 19 also is further talking about the Atma Swarupa only. And in fact, finally, there is also Mahavakya also is there here. So let us see this. Idam vai tan madhu dadyang atharvanaha ashvibhyam uvacha tad etadrishi pashyan avochat. So this part is same like what we have already discussed. So this Madhu Vidya, which was taught by Dadyang Atharvanaha to the Ashwini Kumaras, and this was seen by another Rishi, and then he is now talking. He is saying, and what is he saying now? Rupam Rupam Pratirupaha Babhuva Tadasya Rupam Pratitakshanaya. So this Atma or Paramatma only became all the names and forms. Each and every form is that Paramatma's form. Correct? Or the Paramatma took the form in keeping with a particular name. Correct? So each and every form which is there here, all that is nothing but this Paramatma's form only. And why did Paramatma became or take up all these forms? Means then only you can know the Shuddha Chaitanya cannot be known by anybody. It is like the electromagnetic waves or light waves which are just traveling in vacuum. Correct? Unless it is reflected, it is obstructed by something, the waves will not be detected. Like that, Upanishad itself says that asya rupam pratichakshanaya. Okay. So Bhashyakara says pratikyapanaya means to make itself known. Only when you have a body mind sense complex and Chaitanya which is localized within that, which is manifesting in that Sukshma Sharira, through that only you can again know the Swarupa of the Atma. So for that purpose only it became everything, it seems. So it's a little bit of funny thing, correct? Brahman itself became all the different forms, and then for what purpose? To know itself. To know itself as the limitless. And then further it is said, Indraha Maya Bihi Pururupaha Iyate. So this is a very, very highly quoted Vakya again. This is quoted in many places. Indro Maya Bihi Pururupa Iyate. Yukta hi asya harayaha shata dasha iti. So here Indraha is not Devendra. It is the Paramatma only is called Indraha here. Parameshwaraha. And through Maya, Maya Bihi. So this Paramatma through Maya only has become everything. All the different names and forms it has taken up. Okay. So, but it has not really become all these things. Understand that it is not like a Parinamavada. That's why Maya Bihi is there. It is as though it is Vivarta Upadana, we have to say. Like even the gold became all different names and forms without losing its very nature. One becomes or one takes up a particular form. So that is called Vivarta. Vivarta means what? You do not lose, or one does not lose its own nature, but becomes something. Gold being gold only becomes different jewelry. Correct? So Swarupa Aparityagena Rupantara Apattihi. Like that is said in Sanskritam. Swarupa Aparityagena means without giving up one's own Swarupa. Rupantara Apati means you gain some other form. Okay, like that only. It's all Maya. Through Maya, this Paramatma has become many. In fact, and whatever all these many objects which are there, correct? They are all there because all these different organs, sense organs are also there. Harayaha. So this Paramatma has many organs, sense organs, which again are going after many sense objects, correct? So for that purpose only, this Paramatma has become many, all the different forms, because to support the sense objects for the different sense organs. We all have 10 sense organs. In fact, hundreds also it is said here. Harayaha here means sense organs because they harati vishayaniti. They actually take all the sense objects into themselves, correct? They draw it into themselves. Therefore, the sense organs are called harayaha here. So tens of them, hundreds of them also. And okay, if you say that the Paramatma has become all these different forms, all these different objects for the purpose of the sense organs to consume them, is Paramatma different from the sense organs? Means no. Paramatma only has become all the sense organs also. That is why again it says, Ayam vai harayaha, Ayam vai dashacha, sahasrani, bahuni cha, anantani cha. So this Paramatma alone has become all the sense organs also. Tens of them, hundreds of them. Okay. In fact, thousands of them, unlimited in fact, anantani, because there are so many beings, countless beings are there. All their sense organs, if you take, we cannot even count all of that. So this Paramatma alone has become all that we see here. So the only analogy we can give here is the dream analogy. It is very apt, correct? Because the waker alone has become the entire dream world. All the different beings in the dream world are nothing but the waker alone. Similarly, the Paramatma has become everything. And whatever the Paramatma has become, that is in a different order of reality. That also we have to appreciate. Like the waker and the dream world are in different orders of reality. That is the only way, in fact, it can become as though. Okay. And this Tad Edat Brahma, this Brahman which has become all this, all the names and forms, what is it? Apurvam, Anaparam, Anantaram, Abhahyam. So it is Apurvam means what? There is nothing before that. In fact, it is the very basis for time itself. So the concept of time itself is superimposed on Brahman. So it transcends time. Therefore, Anaparam also. There is nothing after, nothing before, nothing after. Anantaram, nothing inside. Abhahyam, nothing outside. Means what? It transcends space also. So Brahman transcends both space-time. In fact, space-time are in Brahman. That is the understanding, correct? Space-time go and come. But I, as a conscious being, I am always there. To me, only everything becomes evident, including the space-time. So I am the basis for space-time also. I give existence to the very space-time which I create. So that's why this Atma, this Brahman, transcends both space and time. That is said here beautifully by the Upanishad by saying Apurvam, Anaparam, Anantaram, Abhahyam. And what is this Brahman, which is transcending this space time and all that? Brahman, if I say, don't think that it is something sitting upar wala and all that, correct? Something sitting up, something which is away from me, no. Ayamatma Brahma. So there is the Mahavakya also there here. Ayamatma Brahma. So this Atma is Brahman. And it is Sarvanubhu. It is the one which is experiencing everything in every Sukshma Sharira. Understand that. Even Bhagavan in the Bhagavad Gita also uses the analogy of sun, correct? Yatha prakasha yat yekaha krishnam lokam imam ravihi. Kshetram Kshetri Tata Krishnam Prakashayati Bharata. So the Kshetri, which is Brahman here, the indweller in each and every body is the one, only one Kshetri is there. And that Kshetri is lighting up all the Kshetras, all the body, mind, sense complexes. Like even one sun lights up this entire world, correct? So this is also symbolically shown in all our temples, correct? If you go to mostly, I don't know, it may be in North India also, but in South Indian Shiva temples, definitely, if you go to the Garbhagraha, behind the Shivalinga, there will be a light, and then they will have this circular mirror with different sections like that, correct? Different mirror sections where you can see one light becoming many different lights, correct? There in the reflection. So you can see multiple reflections behind the Shivalinga with one lamp glowing there. What does it signify? Signifies the same thing, correct? Yata prakashayat ekaha krishnam lokam imam ravihi. Imam ravihi krishnam lokam. The entire world it is lighting up. Like that, Brahman, Bhagavan, Ishvara only is lighting up the Sukshma Sharira, all the bodies, all the subtle bodies, all the physical bodies also, the gross bodies, all of them, they are all having their awareness, consciousness, sentience only due to the manifestation of this one consciousness. So the Brahman alone is Sarvanubhu. It is the one which is experiencing everything in every Sharira. And iti Anushasanam, and that is the teaching. So Ayamatma Brahma Sarvanubhu iti Anushasanam. This is beautiful, correct? Tadetat Brahma Apurvam Anaparam Anantaram Abhahyam Ayamatma Brahma Sarvanubhu iti Anushasanam. So with this fifth Brahmanam is over. Teaching also is over. So let us see what Bhashyakara says. Okay, Idam Vaitan Madhvityadi Purvavat. So this Idam Vaitan Madhu, these first two Vakyas are already, it has been discussed. Nothing there. Then what? Rupam Rupam Prati Rupo Babhuva. Okay, Bhashyakara takes it. He says Rupam Rupam Prati Rupaha means what? Rupantaram Babhuva ityarthaha. So this Paramatma only became each and every form. Okay. Or Pratirupaha can also be taken as Anurupaha. It became in keeping with the forms. Okay. So why he says this is what Yadrik Samsthanau Mata Pitarau Tat Samsthanaha Tad Anurupaha Eva Putraha Jayata. So Bhashyakara is saying Samsthana means here form again. Okay. The word Samsthana has many meanings. Here it is coming in the meaning of a form. So whatever form the parents are having, correct? Father and mother, Mata Pitarau Yadrik Samsthanau Tat Samsthanaha Tad Anurupaha Eva Putraha Jayata. The son or the offspring, the children are also of the same form. What do we mean by that? Bhashyakara explains further. He says, Nahi Chatushpadaha Vipad Jayate. So from two-legged, a four-legged is not born. Or from a four-legged, two-legged is not born. Okay, Vipadaha va Chatushpad. Means a four-legged animal gives birth to only another four-legged animal, like that. It is in keeping with the form. So Paramatma became all these forms in keeping with their whatever their names and forms. It took up in keeping with their whatever special forms, each of them. And so this Paramatma alone, this Parameshwara is the one who has created or who has become all these names and forms. That Babhuva is there. So Bhashyakara says, Sayeva hi Parameshwaraha Nama Rupe Vyakurvanaha. So this Nama Rupa, this Paramatma alone differentiated into all these names and forms. Okay, Rupam Rupam Prati Rupaha Babhuva. So he became all the different forms in keeping with their names. And kimartham punaha pratirupam agamanam. So why did he gain all these forms? In keeping with each and every form, he became that form, correct? So agamanam tasya. So the Paramatmas becoming all these forms or gaining all these forms is for what purpose? That is said here what? Tad asya atmanaha rupam pratichakshanaya pratikyapanaya. So that one may know the real nature of this Atma. Paramatma became all the individual forms, and in that individual forms it lost itself, knowledge of its original reality. Again you gain that knowledge. So for that purpose only it became. So pratichakshanaya, pratikyapanaya, to know one's own Surupa again, only it has become all these things. So Bhashyakara explained that. See, yadi nama rupena vyakriyete tada asya atmanaha nirupadikam rupam prajnana ghanakyam na pratikhyayeta. So if the Paramatma did not become all these different names and forms, okay, it did not differentiate into all these things, means what? And if it is nirupadika, without any conditioning factor, the unconditioned consciousness by itself cannot be known, it cannot be even objectified, it remains as it is. So it cannot be known. Therefore, what? Yada punaha karyakaranaatmana namarupe vyakrite bhavataha tada asya rupam pratikhyayeta. Only if it is differentiated into different names and forms into karya and karana also. Correct? Karya means the body, karana is all the sukshma sharira. So it only once it is differentiated into all these Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, different names and forms, then only its form can be known. So for that purpose only it became everything. So Tadasya Rupam Pratichakshanaya. And then further what? Indro Maya Bihi Puru Rupaha Iyate. So this portion now Bhashyakara takes up. So Indraha Parameshwara. So Indraha here is Parameshwara, not Devendra. Maya bihi prajna bihi nama rupa bhuta krita mityabhimanairva. So Maya bihi here means again cognitions, different cognitions. Of course they are not, they are all erroneous cognitions. That's why they are called Maya bihi prajna bihi. Or you can say that it is Maya bihi here means all the abhimana, the association which is born out of, or false association, we have to say mithya abhimani, nama rupa bhuta krita. Because of all these nama rupas, there is a false identification with them. The nama rupas being there, only a false identification is there. That is maya. Whichever way it is not the reality, correct? Natu paramarthataha. It is not in reality, only through maya. Okay, whether it is a straight erroneous cognition or it is because of all this some false identification with all these different names and forms, this Paramatma has attained all these different forms. Guru Rupaha, Bahu Rupaha, Iyate, Gamyate. So he has attained. Iyate means Gamyate. He has attained all these different forms. Not in reality, only through Maya. So he explained that further properly. Eka Rupaha eva Prajnana Ganaha San Avidya Prajna Bhihi. So Bhashyakara makes it clear. So he says that being the one Chaitanyam alone, being the one Prajnana Ghana, one homogeneous consciousness, it is still the same one homogeneous consciousness, only it has not changed in any way. Being that alone, but due to ignorance, born cognitions, avidya prajna bihi, due to ignorance alone, one is taking oneself as all these different individual body, mind, sense complex. There is a certain identity. So that is the meaning here. And what is the reason for this? Kasmat punaha karana. Bhashyakara says, why did this Paramatma again manifest as all these names and forms as these objects? Means Yuktaha Ratha Iva Vajinaha Swamvishaya Prakashanaya hi Yasmat Asya Harayaha Haranat Indriyani Shata Shatani Dashacha Prani Beda Bahulyat Shatani Dashacha Bhavanti. So what is the reason? Because the sense organs, Harayaha, they are connected to their Vishayas, like even the wheel is connected to the spokes, correct? Or the different spokes are connected to the rim of the wheel. Similarly, Swavishaya Prakashanaya, to light up their own sense objects, right? Each sense organ has their own sense objects. To light it up, only this Paramatma or Parameshwara has become all these different objects because there are different sense organs, it seems. And the sense organs are called Hari or Harayaha here, plural. Why? Because Haranat, because they take away, they consume. Okay? Haranat Indriyani, because they take away all the sense objects into themselves. They consume the sense objects. That's why Indriyas are called Harayaha. And how many are there? Shataha, Shatani, hundreds. Dashacha, 10 also. 10 is there in the human body. But if you take other beings and all that, there may be hundreds. So Bhashyakara explains why both 110 are said here. So he says Prani Beda Bahulya. There are different types of pranis are there, living beings are there. So to account for all of them, it is said that 110 and all that, like these different numbers are given. So Shatani, Dashacha Bhavanti. Therefore, what Tasmat Indriya Vishaya Bahulya Tat Prakashanaya Evacha Yuktani Tani Na Atma Prakashanaya. So Bhashyakara is giving a note here. All these Indriyas, they are all connected only to their sense objects. They are all outgoing. They do not turn back and look at who is impelling them to go out and seek all these sense objects. Impelled by whom they are even functioning. Who is giving them their very sentiency? They do not normally or naturally seek that. They are only seeking their own objects, sense objects. So they are not for Atma Prakashanaya, they are not for the purpose of lighting up this Atma. They can only go and light up their own sense objects which are external. Now this is said in Kathopanishad, interestingly. Paranchikani Vyatrinat Swayambhuhu Parang Pashyati Nantaratman Kaschid Dhiraha Pratyagatmanam Aikshate Avrita Chakshur Amritatvam Ichan. Like this, there is a beautiful verses there in Kathopanishad. So Paranchikani Vyatrinat Swayambhu means by making them going outward, this Swayambhu has injured them or even killed them really. Because they are always going after sense objects, they are not going after the Atma. Atma Prakashana they cannot do. But Kaschid Dhiraha, some Dhiras, Dhira here means Vivekinaha, those who discriminate between what is Nitya and Anitya. What do I really want? They, but Avritta Chakshur means they have covered their Indriyas, so to speak. Means they are not going after the sense objects, but they are desirous of Amritatvam, desiring immortality. Amritatvam Ichan, Avritta Chakshuhu Bhutva, Amritatvam Ichan, Pratyagatmanam Aikshate. They are the ones who see the Pratyagatma, the inner self, the self which is there within this body mind sense complex. Like this Kathopanishad is there. Itihi Kathake, Bhashyakara quotes that also. So to just point out that the Indriyas, all the objects themselves are made for the purpose of Indriyas only because the Indriyas are outgoing. and they are always connected to their or associated with their sense objects. They are not for lighting up one's own self. So therefore what? Tasmat taihi eva vishaya swarupaihi iyate na prajnana ghana ekarasena swarupena. So therefore this, because of this what? The Vishaya Swarupa only they attain. Iyate here. Not the Prajnana Gana Ekarasa. The homogeneous, one and only, without a second, whatever this consciousness which is there, they do not attain that. These sense organs. Okay, now what? There is a question. Evam tarhi, if it is in this manner, Anyaha Parameshwaraha, Anya Harayaha iti, Evam Prapte Uchyate. So, if it is said like this, for the purpose of the sense organs only, Paramatma became all the objects. Then is sense organs different from the Paramatma? You are talking about one Brahman and all that, correct? Atma Ekatva Jnanam, Brahma Ekatva Jnanam and all that. Where did your Ekatvam go now? No problem. Upanishad itself takes care of that. So, iti uchyate, for this it is said now. What is that? Ayam vai harayaha, ayam vai dasha cha sahasrani, bahuni cha anantani cha. So this Param Brahma, this Parameshwara alone has become all these Indriyas also, whether it is 10,000 or countless, unlimited, Ananta, Bahuni, many, unlimited. And how can you say it is unlimited? Because Prani Bhedasya Anantya, there are so many beings. All beings are having different sense organs, many sense organs. So it is all countless. Anantyam is there. Okay, now this Brahman alone has become all these things, all the sense organs, all the sense objects. This is one way of looking at the world, correct? So what has come from all this? Kim Bahuna means what is this which has become all these many? This Parameshwara, this Brahman means Tad Etad Brahma Ya Atma. So this Brahman, which is this Atma, and what is its Swarupa? Apurvam. Okay, there is nothing preceding this Brahman. Means what? Na asya karanam purvam vidyate iti apurvam. There is no cause. It is the uncast cause, you can say. If at all you consider Brahman as the cause of this world, you cannot ask who created Brahman. It is uncast cause. There is no cause for this Brahman. So asya karanam purvam na vidyate iti apurvam. Similarly, na asya aparam karyam vidyate iti anaparam. There is no karana also. Really, there is no karana which has karya which has come out of this Brahman also. Understand that. So there is nothing after, there is nothing before. Then what? Na asya jati antaram antarale vidyate iti anantaram. So other than this Brahman, there is no other category, there is nothing else. Jati antaram is not there. In between. So there is, because if you take some of the things, then they are all having their own parts. There are different categories even within a particular type of object. All that is not there in Brahman. And also tata bahihi asya na vidyate iti abhahyam. Okay, so this Brahman is homogeneous. There are not different things are not there. Different categories of things do not make up this Brahman or anything. It's internally homogeneous, and it is, in fact, internal, external itself is only spatial terms, correct? So there is nothing internal or external to it also. Brahman alone is. And What is this Brahma? Kim punaha tad nirantaram Brahma. This Brahman which is there always, which is free from space-time. Ayam Atma. It is this Atma. Even after saying Ayam Atma, people will have doubt. Whether it is Paramatma, Jivatma, Dattatma, this Atma. So Bhashyakara, so what is this Atma also? Yaha Pratyagatma, the one which is there within, who is Drashta, who is the seer, Shrota, who is the hearer, Manta, who is the one who is thinking, Bodha, one who cognizes, Vijnata, Sarvanubhuhu, one who has knowledge, one who is experiencing everything, to whom everything becomes evident. So Sarvatmana, so being the self of every being, Sarvam Anubhavati iti Sarvanubhutu. So this Atma alone is the one which is experiencing everything. So that is this Atma. Brahman is not separate from you. And this is the teaching. Ityetad Anushasanam Sarva Vedanta Upadeshaha. So Anushasanam means what? This is the teaching of all the Vedanta. Okay. This is the summary. Yeshaha Sarva Vedantanam Upasamhritaha Arthaha. So it is the final meaning of all the Vedanta. You have studied Vedanta as a subject matter. This is it. This is what Vedanta is teaching you. It's finished here. The teaching is complete. And Yetad Amritam Abhayam. And this teaching alone is Amrita and Abhaya. It is the one which gives you immortality, which gives you fearlessness. And with that, the purpose of the teaching also is achieved. Parisamaptasya Shastrartha. So the Shastrartha, for whatever purpose the Shastra set out, that is also over now. The purpose has been achieved, it is completed. Parisamaptasya Shastrartha. So that is it. So with this Brahmana, essentially the teaching is over. The first two Brahmanas are first two chapters are taken together normally. In the Shatapada Brahmana, the last Khanda is there. In that, actually 4 chapters are there. That's why this is called 4th by Bhashyakara. There are 2 more chapters before the Brhadaranyaka starts. And Brhadaranyaka itself is starting with the 3rd and 4th. It is 3rd chapter only it is starting. We have covered 3rd and 4th chapter. If you look at it like that, in Satapatha Brahmana's last Kanda. And here, these first 2 chapters are called, they are called Madhu Kanda. The name Madhu Kanda itself is given to the entire first 2 chapters. So the teaching of the Madhu Kanda is over. And now, 6th Brahmanam is simply 3 Vakyas. It is only giving you a list of all the teachers for the purpose of praising this Vidya. And also showing that this Vidya is Apaurusheya. Understand this. This teaching is not from the intellect of any one particular person. It is not from my intellect. Whatever I am saying, I learned from my Guru. And where did my Guru learn means from his Guru. Where did his Guru learn means from his Guru, like that. There is a Vamsha is there, Parampara is there. And the Upanishad itself is showing you that Vamsha. To tell you that from where did this knowledge originate. It is Apaurusheya knowledge, it has come from Brahman itself. It's not from the intellect of any one person. If it is from the intellect of one person, it can be negated. In fact, all PhD nowadays are like that, correct? One person writes one PhD, some theory, this, that, hypothesis, they try to prove it. Then some other person comes, does another PhD, he also gets PhD. But he now negates the other person's hypothesis. That is possible because the scientific method itself says that a hypothesis should be falsifiable. It can be falsified, or in different boundary conditions, it cannot hold good. It may not hold good. Even if a hypothesis holds good in a particular boundary condition, It need not hold good otherwise. So normal objective knowledge, there is no finality in all this. But this Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya is final. You cannot better it. There is nothing you can do, correct? Because this is the only, and this is the only thing you can completely know. Because this is partless whole you are knowing. It is yourself. You are a partless whole. So there is nothing to know more than knowing oneself as the limitless conscious being. There is nothing more. You cannot better that. The limitless cannot be bettered. There is nothing more to know also, and this is the only thing you can know completely. So this knowledge has come in a certain parampara. Now let us quickly read that. Atha Vamshaha, Pauti Mashyaha, Gaupavana. Okay, Pauti Mashyaha is in first case. He is the Shishya, and he learned from whom? Gaupavana. Okay. So this is all Taddita also. Pauti Mashya means he is the son of Puti Mashya, most probably. Okay, you have to take like that. And Gaupavana means Gopavana was there, and his son is called Gaupavana. And Gaupavana himself from Pautima, another Pautima. There was another, it can be, see, Tasya Apatyam is there. An Pratyaya, Tadita Pratyaya, or it can come in the sense of Gotra also, or whoever is come in a particular clan. That's why Rama is called Raghava. Raghu was many generations before Rama, correct? But he can be called Raghava. So he is from the Raghu Vamsha, correct? Or Raghu's Kula. So another Pautimashya taught this Gaupavana, and that Pautimashya again learned from another Gaupavana, and that Gaupavana again, okay, at least now the name changes. Kaushika, he learned from a Kaushika, and that Kaushika Kaundinya Gotra Mandal is there. Even some people are there even today. You go and you can see people who have Kaundinya as their Gotra, the Pravartaka Rishi, Kaundinya. And that Kaundinya Shandilya, and Shandilya Kaushika, again Kaushika, and Gautama. So this Shandilya learned from both Kaushika and Gautama. And Gautama learned from Agni Veshya, and Agni Veshya Shandilya again. And Anabhim, okay, Anabhimlata is the person. Very difficult names. No, at least some of these names are still there, but Anabhimlataha, I don't know anybody is living is having this name. Okay, then Anabhimlataha. Okay, he learned from another Anabhimlata only. And another Anabhimlata, another. Okay, they were only teaching in their family. And Anabhimlataha Gautama. Okay, then this person learned from Gautama. That Gautamaha Saitava Prachina Yogyabhyam. So he learned from two people, Saitava and Prachina Yogya. And Saitava learned from another Prachina Yogya. Okay, or both of them. Saitava Prachina Yogya, Parasharya. So they both learned from Parasharya. And Parasharya, Bharadwaja. So my Gotra is Bharadwaja Gotra. So Bharadwaja is a great rishi. And in his lineage, somebody has taught. Parasharya means Parashara. Parashara also is a great rishi, correct? Vyasa's father is Parashara. Then what? Bharadwaja, another Bharadwaja, Gautamacha, and from Gautama also. That Gautamaha Bharadwaja, again he learned from another Bharadwaja. Bharadwaja Parasharya. Okay, from Parasharya. Parasharya Vaidavapanaya. There is a name. Okay. Vaidavapayana. And this Vaidavapayana Kaushikayane, Kaushikayanehe, Kaushikayani, like that. From the Kaushikayani he learned. Kaushikayanehe, Kaushikayanihi, then he learned from what? Grita Kaushika. And Grita Kaushikaha, Parasharya, Parasharyayana. Okay, Parasharyayanaha. Then Parasharyayanaha, Parasharya. And that Parasharyaha, Jatu Karnya. Jatu Karnyaha, Asurayanat. And Yaskat. So this Jatu Karnyaha has learned from both Asurayana and Yaska. And Asurayana's Traivaner and Traivanihi. So Traivani, like that one person. And Traivanihi, Aupa Jandhanehe, Aupa Jandhanehe. And Aupa Jandhanihi, Asurehe. So Aupa Jandhini learned from Asura and or Asuri, and Asurihi Bharadwaja. Okay, and he learned from Bharadwaja. Bharadwaja Atreya. Atreya also is a Gotra. Many people are there. Atreya. Some people keep it as their surname also nowadays. And Atreya Mantehe. Mante, there is a name, Manti. When this is new for me also. Mantihi Gautamat. Gautamaha, another Gautamat. Gautamaha Vatsyad. Okay, Vatsyaha. And then Vatsyaha Shandilyat. Shandilyaha Kaishoryat. Okay. Kapyat. Okay. Then Kaishoryaha Kapyaha Kumara Harita. Kumara Haritaha Galavat. Galavaha Vidarbhi. Vidarbhi Kaundinyat. Vidarbhi Kaundinyaha Vatsanapataha Bhabravat. So Vatsanapataha Bhabravaha, there is one person. So from that, then Vatsanapad Bhabravaha Pataha Saubharat Pantaha Saubharaha Ayasyat. Okay. Angirasat. Okay. Ayasyat Angirasat. Ayasyaha Angirasaha Abhutehe Tvashtrat. Abhutehe Tvashtrat. And Abhutis Tvashtraha Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa Tvashtrat. Okay, Vishwarupa Tvashtra. There is a Abhuti Tvashtra, then there is a Vishwarupa Tvashtra. And Vishwarupa Tvashtraha Ashvibhyam. Okay, Ashwini Kumaras have come here. No, because it's Madhu Brahmana. Bhashyakara says not only the first two chapters, but this particular Rishi Vamsha is for the all 4 chapters in the last kanda of the Shatapada Brahman. So Ashvibhyam, Ashvinau, Dadich. Okay, this story also comes. Dadichi, Dadichaha, Atharvana, and Dadhyang Atharvanaha, Atharvanaha. So he learned from Atharvana itself. Daivat, Atharvaha, Daivaha, Mrityoho. So the Atharva Daiva, up to this I think they are rishis. Now Mrityu has come, Devata. Then Pradhamsanat Mrityuhu. Mrityu learned from Pradhamsanaha. And Pradhamsanat, he learned from another Pradhamsana. Pradhamsana Ekarshehe. From Ekarishi, he learned Pradhamsanaha. And Ekarshihi Viprachittehe. Viprachittihi Vyashtehe. Vyashtihi Sanaroho. Sanaruhu Sanatanat. Sanatanaha Sanagat. Sanagaha Parameshtihi. So Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana also we say, correct? Sanat Kumara and all that. Maybe they are coming here. Sanatana and Sanaga are coming here. And Parameshtinaha. He learned from Parameshti, and Parameshti learned from Brahmanaha, Brahmaji. Brahma is Swayambhu. Brahma did not learn from anybody else. So it has gone up to Brahmaji. You can see here, as I told you, the idea is to praise the Vidya and show that it is Aporushaya Vidya. It cannot be negated by anybody. And so Bhashyakara quickly we will see. Ata idanim Brahma Vidyarthasya Madhukandasya Vamshaha Stutyarthaha Brahma Vidyaya. So for praising the Brahma Vidya, this Vamsha is being talked about here. Correct? Madhukandasya Vamshaha. Mantrascha ayam swadhyayarthaha japarthascha. So Bhashyakara says this mantra which is talking about all these names, it is for your own swadhyaya, and also it is you can do japa of all these names. It will be very effective for you. Tatra Vamsha Eva Vamshaha, he says. The Vamsha is like a Vamsha normally is a bamboo. See, Yata Venuhu Vamshaha Parvanaha Parvanaha hi Vidyate Tadvat Agrat Pravriti A Mula Praptehe Ayam Vamshaha. So the bamboo has all this, you can see different sections, correct? Up to the root. Like that, in this Vidya also, the bamboo has grown, means it has grown from one particular shoot to another different sections, correct? Like that only this whole Guru Parampara also has come. It's like the bamboo. And Adhyaya Chatushtayasya Acharya Parampara Kramaha Vamshaha iti uchyate. So the Adhyaya Chatushtaya, that's what I told you, all the 4 Adhyayas Bhashyakara is taking from the Shatapatha Brahmana's last kanda. And this is the Acharya Parampara, and there is a lineage, it is a series, correct? Series. And that is called Vamsha here. Tatra Prathamantaha Shishyaha. So whoever is there in first case, they are all Shishyas. It starts with Pauti Mashyaha, like that, correct? Prathamantaha is the Shishya. And Panchamyantaha is Acharya, the one who is coming in the 5th case, from whom he has received that knowledge, he comes in the 5th case. And Parameshti Virat, and here Parameshti Naha is there, correct? Who is this Parameshti? Sanaga learned from Parameshti, means Parameshti is Virat. Virat is the totality of all the physical cosmos. And Brahmanaha here is Hiranyagarbha. And beyond Hiranyagarbha, Brahmaji, there is no Acharya Parampara, because Brahmaji is Swayambhu and he knew it himself, correct? It comes here also in the 1st chapter. Prajapati was only he was there. Then he felt afraid, but then he overcame that fear by knowing himself. So he is Swayambhu. And beyond that Brahmaji, there is no Acharya Parampara. If Punaha Brahma, then Nityam Swayambhu, then there is another Brahmane Namaha is there, correct? This Brahmane Namaha is the one who is Swayambhu. This Brahma is Brahmanaha. From Parameshti knew from Brahmanaha, and Brahma is Swayambhu. Then this Brahmane Namaha is there. That is Yet Punar Brahma, then Nityam Swayambhu, that is always there, that eternal Brahma is Swayambhu. Tasmai Brahmane Swayambhuve Namaha. Salutations. With that, we are also offering our salutations to the Acharya Parampara. So with this, we have successfully completed 2 chapters in Brhadaranyaka, which is a great achievement, I think. And hopefully, we will finish it in another 150 classes. We will finish the entire Brhadaranyaka, and I hope all of you will attend. Okay. So we'll close the class with a prayer. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.